Hello, and welcome to a wool farm tutorial. This is just for a small, simple wool farm, like you can see behind me, and I have tried to use a couple of tricks to make it super efficient. So... I love doing that. So, the two tricks, as it were, that I have used to try to speed up rates on this farm are using extra grass layers to make the grass spread faster, and also to use a whole bunch of sheep in one little space. This, yeah. If you don't care about how you treat your Minecraft animals, this is the farm for you. So this is pretty straightforward to build. You can pick yourself from a variety of options of exactly how you want it to be. You can pick between 1, 2, or 3 grass layers. It does affect the rates quite a lot, because when you have this many sheep in there, one of the sheep is gonna eat the grass within a couple of seconds of it growing. So really the bottleneck is the grass spread. I left these 3 running for 3 hours each. They all started at the same time. And here you can see how much wool they got in 3 hours. It was like 3 hours to the minute. And they all have the same number of sheep in there. So if you want something more compact, you can go for this design. Otherwise, one of these two is a lot quicker. Obviously, also it might depend on how pretty you want it to look, because these are kind of ugly. And this collection system in this farm, instead of using hoppers underneath, it uses like the block elevator trick, where the wool pops off them and goes up through the blocks and into a hopper here, and then into a shulker box. This also makes the farm very modifiable in terms of storage, because you can do something like this. So for example, if you want just a bunch of chests next to it, you can make this as tall as you want. Pretty much up to build limit, I guess. And then you have just a hopper that will collect them. They'll pop out to the top, and then they can funnel down through as many chests as you want. So the taller you make it, the more storage chests you can fit in really easily. Or if you want, you can have them pop up and into a water stream like this, and then send that water stream wherever you would like. It's really customizable in that sense in terms of storage. So let's get to building here. The items that you need will be in the description, and I am going to be building the 3 grass layer one. If you want 2 or 1 grass layers, then just copy how these look here, because everything else is the same. It's just the location of the grass layers that varies. So, start out with some grass. Like so, in a 3x3, 1 in the middle, which is where the sheep goes, and then next layer up. This is important. You use glass blocks because they don't kill the grass underneath them, and they will let it spread. So you do that, and then another layer of grass, like this. Glass on top of that again, like so. And then a final layer of grass, like that. And then around the back here, we need an observer observing this block which the sheep stand on, and we need a dispenser on top of it, like that, facing inwards. How you get the sheep in there is up to you, whatever you find easier. You could bust a hole here, put in some rails, and then ferry them in one by one using rails. You can drop them in from the top. It's just whatever you find easier. we need some redstone around the back here, which is a block there and some dust on top of it. It's very simple. And then in here is where you put your shears. The on-off switch is just a lever on this. This is on and this is off. Obviously you can wire it up to somewhere else if you want to have it somewhere else. That's not a problem. Let's just quickly drop a sheep in here. And then really important is that you need a glass block where the sheep's head or the sheep's heads are, because otherwise the item elevator won't work. So the easiest way to do that is by using a piston to push this in, like so. And the glass block won't suffocate the sheep, but the items will still travel up. Then you need a final layer of glass on top of that grass there. Now, how many sheep you want to put in there will depend on your world. In these ones that I've done here, there's 20 sheep in each of these because that's the default entity cramming limit, but after which they'll start suffocating and dying. That might be too many if you're playing in multiplayer. It might be too much lag for the server. If you're playing single player and you've switched off entity cramming or changed the limit, you might want to put more in there to make the rates even higher. There will come a point at which the rates won't increase the more you put in, because a sheep will eat the grass as soon as it grows, and so any more sheep is just extra sheep that won't be doing anything. With 20, the grass will be eaten about like once every 1 or 2 seconds, I think, statistically. So you don't need many more in there, to be honest. With 20 sheep, the rates are, roughly speaking, for this one layer one, about 1 stack per hour, about 2 stacks per hour, and about 3 stacks per hour. As you can see, this doesn't line up perfectly here, because it does also just depend on luck. How many will you get when you shear the sheep, and a bunch of other random factors. But that's roughly speaking what you're gonna get. Maybe 2 to 2.5 stacks per hour, and 3 to 3.5 stacks per hour for those two. So really, it is up to you to work out how many sheep you want to put in there. Now, how you build the rest of this depends on what sort of storage you want. The simplest version, if you don't need a lot of storage, would be to just put in a shulker box here. Oh, great. Yep, shulker box there with a hopper, like so. And the wool will just pop up into the hopper and then into the shulker box. You want to have an airspace above the hopper. If you do this, the wool will mostly just pop out the top. You can put a slab in there. They'll probably sometimes still pop through, so either an empty airspace or this is probably your best bet for that. If you want to do a wall of chests, like I did here, then you build it up as far as you want. And an important thing to note is you don't have to use glass blocks. You can be creative, use any solid block, not solid block, full blocks that you want. Can be transparent, as far as I can tell, can be solid. Just have to be full blocks, and build it as high as you want. Be creative, have fun. And the taller you build it, obviously, the more chests you can put in. So once it's as tall as you want it to be, you want a shulker box there with a hopper pointing into it, like so. You can't use a hopper or a chest here because they're not full blocks, so the wool sort of will pop out. They won't get caught by the hopper. You want a full block here. If it's early on in a series or a world and you don't have shulker boxes yet, you can use you could probably use a dropper or a dispenser, anything that's a full block that can hold wool. And then you just make your wall of storage with your wall of chests all the way down and link them up. Ooh. Link them up with hoppers like so. Oh, and then fill this in. Yeah, you don't want any open blocks above here because then the wool will kind of pop out there, and it won't get caught by the hopper. If you want them to pop up into a water stream like this, say for example you want the water stream to go through the ceiling and then down into a wall of chests on the other side of the room, for example, like the other side of the wall, that would be that side, or the other side of the room would be that side. Then you want, let's see, ice. You want a layer of ice to help the items move faster. Let's see, let's put this here, and then your water will go in the middle there. So you want to build this up so that the items can't pop out that way. And now you want to put glass panes or iron bars along here. It seems counterintuitive that you wouldn't want full blocks, but full blocks, I found in my testing, make the wool glitch. They get stuck in the blocks and they don't move along the water stream, and then they start sucking up any other blocks that come up, and it becomes kind of lossy. This is still a little bit lossy, but nowhere near as bad. So then at the end of your water stream, wherever you send it, you want to send it to, you put in some hoppers. Glass or any other block just on the end here to stop the items going further, and then your water goes here. Most of the time the wool will pop up into the stream and get carried along, no problem. And obviously also you can extend this water stream if you want to, using the normal method for that. So for example, a trapdoor, for those of you that don't know, if this was the natural end of the water stream, then you would put a trapdoor there, and then another water source block, and just keep going like that. And then you definitely need ice under there to keep the item moving, otherwise it'll just get caught. Here, you don't absolutely need ice underneath the water stream, but it just speeds it up, and you want ice on the sides to help items that get caught here slide along and into the hopper. And also ice blocks here to help items that might pop onto here slide down again. And that is what that looks like. Another modification you can make is if you would like a way to be able to kind of pipe in extra shears and not have to replace them manually in the dispenser, there is a way to do that. You might not find that you need to, because Unbreaking III shears last a good long while. This is how much they got used up on, like, I think over 3 hours of usage. So it does last a while. But if you want to be able to funnel them in from a chest, then you can build this circuit instead on the back. So let me just show you how to do that. Instead of this, you want a solid block here, and then you send a redstone here into a solid block, like so, with redstone on top, a hopper into the dispenser, and then redstone on top of that. And then you just connect another hopper to that, and that will work fine. Instead, obviously here, that's where you put your chest, or yeah, you improvise, that's up to you. And a final thing to note is if you have loads of sheep in there, and the system has been off for a while, then obviously all of them will have their wool regrown when you get back. So if you want to harvest them all quickly, just flick the lever a bunch of times. And that'll harvest them all and then leave it on like so. And that is my simple wool farm. I appreciate this may have been slightly longer than most of my tutorials. I wanted to try to include all of the information so that you can understand how it works and how you might want to change it yourself, or how you might want to set it up. So yes, I hope that is helpful to people. If you have any questions or anything, just comment and I will help you out as best I can. I love doing that. One sheep? All the sheep. Yes. Thank you for watching and see you again next time.